Good morning students, I am Rajveer Tawar, PGT Computer Science. I am going to introduce you about programming in Python. Students, programming, as you know, programming is a special art which enables you to solve your problems in computer. Programming or a computer program is a set of instructions designed in a particular language to solve a particular problem or to do a task in computer. Programming in Python is quite simpler than programming in other languages like C, C++, Java, etc. Programming in Python, because Python is using interpreter, and it is a code interpreting language which makes the program simpler to design, simpler to handle. Okay, actually if you want to do programming is a quite common phenomena in any kind of language. Why? Because programming is a steps of solutions and it should be designed in a particular manner. Okay, well student, if you design a program in C++ language, or if you want to design in program in Python language, the starting torque is almost similar, I think. Why? Because programming in any language, if you want to do a program, it's a common steps you have to take. So here, first of all, I would like to give you some common steps of designing a program. Well, student, it is very easy to manage a program because I am correlating this thing with the natural things. Like if any task you want to do, you have to make a plan, you have to make a strategy, and you solve the problem or the program in a various sequence of steps. Similarly, programming also, if you follow the following 5 steps, you can easily start up. Some children, they are having problem in programming. Last year in 11th standard you might have practiced it, but after that also some of you are having a fear to handle the program. Whenever you read the question, write a program, at that time some students are having fear to start up. So few tips I want to give, and if you follow the tips sincerely, then definitely you can easily attempt the program, any kind of program. Here the 5 steps are there, 5 magical steps are there. Think about these 5 steps. Point number 1. Program always given to a particular problem. So whenever you listen the program, then think about the problem. Understand it. Okay, the first point is understand the problem. Understand the problem well. If you couldn't understand the problem, you couldn't design the program. Point number 2 is think about a solution. Think about a solution for the program that you must have. For example, any kind of task that you want to do on computer, you must know the solution, you must know the logic, the formula behind it. If you don't know that, then you have to find out what kind of formula is used to solve the problem. Point number 3 is the practical thing. When you start writing the program, these first two points are conceptual. Third one is the practical one. If you do the first step very easily, then second also you decided what you have to do in the program. Then in the third step, first point is you have to enter the values, the required inputs. So third one is input the required data. For example, suppose the problem is you have to find the simple interest. You know the formula, you know how to solve that kind of problem. Then the third point is you have to enter the values, data values, principal amount, rate of interest and time, because without that you cannot solve the simple interest and you cannot display the result. So this third one is important one, that you must enter the correct data. Fourth one, after inputting the correct data, now the fourth point is a very, very important point. This may be vary in various program to program. Like that is the logic. You have to apply the perfect, accurate logic or formula to solve the problem. This will be definitely different in different kind of problems. So the logic or the formula you have to decide and you have to apply in that language specifically, accurately. And the fifth one and final one is display the result. So whatever the result we acquired from the logic, from the formula, that you have to display. Okay, so these 5 steps you follow in some beginning programs. You think the solution of a ready-made program and compare with this. All programs are having same 5 steps logic. 5 steps are built in that program. For example, suppose you have to calculate the simple interest value. So in the program, you understand the problem because you know how to calculate the simple interest. Solution also you can easily take the principal amount, rate of interest in time, and you can solve by using the formula SI is equal to P into R into T divided by 100. So you start with this. First you get the value for principal amount, rate of interest in time, then apply the logic SI is equal to principal amount into rate of interest into time divided by 100. So that logic will give you the answer, and that answer you can print. Any language, either C, either C++, either Python, whatever program, these 5 steps you have to follow. Suppose I am telling you the program to find the Fibonacci series up to n terms. Okay, that program is need for some specific logic, but that program also follows these 5 steps. If I told you to write a program to find whether a string is a palindrome string or not, that program is also followed by these 5 steps. Okay, so now I will give you one example of a simple program that will be followed by these 5 steps. Okay, so students, don't take any fear about the program. It is also done by students. Many students, starting problem you may have, but if you continuously, rigorously, if you practice, then definitely you can achieve. You may make new and solved problems very easily. So the question I am going to explain here is, write a program to find the area of a triangle by using the Heron's formula. Okay, so all of you know that how to calculate the area of a triangle by using Heron's formula. As you know that Heron's formula is that needs the side of the triangle, 3 sides of the triangle, and a specific formula is there. So you can easily understand the problem. All of you know that what is the formula for calculating the area of a triangle, and you can easily decide the solution. If you want to solve it, you can easily solve it. But here we have to solve it in the programming form, not in mathematical form. So in the Python is quite similar as we write in mathematical language. Okay, here we need not to define any file or any program or any function. You can start directly by taking variables and simply calculating it and displaying the result. Various commands and syntaxes are also very similar and simpler. So how to start the program? First we write, we understand the problem. Second, we know the solution of the program. Third one is required parameters. So required data we need to enter. What are the required parameters for calculating triangle area using Hero's formula? Very easily you can say all three sides of the triangle you must know. So all three sides of the triangle is the required data that you need to enter in the program. How to enter? Very simple. First, take one variable for side 1, take second variable for side 2, take third variable for side 3. Okay. Here, randomly takes any valid data for that. Suppose I am taking 2.5, 4.0, 3.5. Here, 3 data I am taking. 3 sides, any random value you can take. If you don't want to assign a value, you can use input function in Python to input the value of S1, S2 and S3. That will be dynamically take data from keyboard when you execute the program. Here I have typed any constant data directly. So all 3 sides of the data I have entered. So step number 3 is completed. First step over, second step over, third step over. Now the fourth step, that is applying the perfect logic. What is the logic here? Logic is to calculate the area of triangle. So what is the logic here? First you need to calculate the S value, that is S1 plus S2 plus S3 divided by 2. Divided by 2. This is the value of S here, that is semi-perimeter. And then you need to calculate the area. Area is equal to, here you need to calculate the square root. So square root, how do you calculate the square root? In Python, if you want to write the square root, then you have to import a file math and math.sqrt you have to apply, and s into s minus 1 into s minus 2 into s minus 3, and this will calculate it, and finally this function will find the square root of this wholes, and here at the top you write import math. This statement will import the library file math, and the library file math is having a function sqrt. So sqrt will help to get the formula of this formula and give the result of square root. The answer will be stored in area. Now you can print the result. Very simple to begin, very simple to end. Now this is the program. When you execute it, you will get the result. See, the Python is not a structured language like C or C++, so you can simply type a set of commands and you can simply get the result. Similarly, you can have some different problems without any that need specific logic. These are called linear programs. Linear means that all will continuously execute, all the statement will continue execute in a linear fashion. First this, second this, third this, fourth this, fifth, sixth, seventh. In a sequence, all these programs will execute. So you can practice various calculative programs. Like here we have calculated the area of triangle. Like that you can calculate the sum and average of a set of numbers. You can display your name. You can do any other problems also. So now after practicing these simple programs, you have to move ahead little bit, and in the second module of your practice programming that need some specific kind of programs. So here I am little moving ahead, and I am starting the programming with some conditions. Okay, programming with conditions. The programs which are having some conditions. Condition means some decision making programs. Here little difficulties some students are facing, that they couldn't easily interpret the use of if, else, while, for, such kind of things. Students, I am going to tell you that please don't get fear about this, because these things are as simple as daily, as we do some decisions in our daily life. Like suppose you are going out, rain is there, you can guess and you can see that rain is coming, then you have to decide whether you are going out or not. If you want to go out, then you have to take umbrella or raincoat. It's based on the condition whether rain is coming or not. If there is no rain, you can go directly. Okay, so these are decisions that always taken by our mind. Similarly, our program is executing by computer. So computer cannot decide by its own. Everything is programmed. So in program we have to provide the provisions. So computer can think on the basis of the condition that we have given in our program. Like suppose when you go for a shop and after purchasing, when you are going to pay, then that computer prepares the bill and it displays the total amount of bill, and that much bill amount you have to pay, and you can exit from there. And many times you have seen that many shopkeepers or many shopping malls, they are providing some discount options. At that time, the system will automatically calculate on the basis of the logic given inside the computer. They decide what amount of discount you will get, what kind of free gift you are eligible to get. That will be decided by computer. How? It simply basis on the logic given inside the billing program of the computer. So you should be also able to design such program that is having some decision capability. That decision may or may not required in some realistic condition, or it may be required to change. That you will be definitely able to change it. So first thing is how to make programs with conditions. Dear students, this is also same as previous. What I told you previous 5 steps, that is also similar here now also. Why? That is also program, this is also program. Similarity is there, difference is there. Difference is that it is having a condition and the previous programs are not having conditions. No difference in this, only difference in the point number, step number 4, that is the logic. The logic may vary, as initially also I told, logic may vary, but all 5 steps required here also. Suppose you need to write a program that is giving you discount after entering the purchase amount, and you will be eligible for discount for some criteria. The criteria is that the percentage, the purchase amount is suppose having greater than 5,000, then you are eligible to get a discount of 10% suppose. Then suppose you enter the purchase amount, whatever the purchase amount, that is, if it is greater than 5,000, you are eligible to get 10% discount. Otherwise, you are not eligible to get any discount. Or it may be having any other kind of logic. So, how to put such type of conditions in the programming? As in many languages, there is a common statement called if statement. Here in Python also we are using the same statement if, but the syntax is little bit different. So what is if statement that we will use here? If is a statement that allows the user to enter the realistic condition in the program, and it will help the program to control the logic flow. How? So it helps the compiler or interpreter that if the condition is true, go through that direction and do some another branch of the program, or if the condition is false, then don't go in that direction, go in another direction and do a certain another kind of instructions. That's why these conditions or decision making by if is also known as branching. It creates branches in the program. Several different branches according to the conditions. It may create two or more than two branches. So first you understand how if statement is written, how it is used in the program. First you understand the if statement and types of if statement. As I told you, if statement is a statement which is used to give some realistic conditions or decision making steps in the program. In the program, you may have one condition or you may have more than one condition. Let's understand this scenario by simply understanding the type of if statements. First statement is called simple if statement. This simple if statement, you can use this statement when you have only one condition. If you have only one condition, that is no any other condition, then you have to use simple if. How it looks, let's understand the situation or syntax. This is the if. Here you put the condition. Then if this condition becomes true, you enter in the logic here and you proceed the statement. These are called true block statements. Okay, and suppose the condition will false, then you are not allowed to enter in this section and you are exiting from there. This is our normal program proceedings. So if the condition becomes true, you enter in a separate section, separate branch, that is called true branch, and you execute that one and continue the further program steps. If this condition becomes false, we don't go in that area, simply we will continue our programs. I will explain this with a simple example. Suppose a shop announces some special discount. If the customer is having purchase amount greater than 5,000, then they are eligible for 5% discount. Otherwise, no discount. So in this scenario, we have only one condition of calculating discount. That is also conditional whether the amount is 5,000 or not. If that condition is true, you are eligible to get 5% discount. Otherwise, you won't get any discount. So that scenario I am putting here with this if. First we will enter the purchase amount. Suppose purchase amount you can input here. Whatever the purchase amount you can input, that will be stored in this variable PA. Now you calculate if PA greater than 5,000. If this condition becomes true, then you calculate the discount is equal to purchase amount into 5%. 5% is 5 divided by 100. So this is the example of simple if. If this condition becomes true, it will calculate a variable value discount and then we will proceed the net amount. Net amount is equal to purchase amount minus discount. So if the purchase amount is not greater than 5,000, then discount will be nothing. Discount will be 0. Okay. So initially you can take here discount as 0. Okay. By default it is 0. If purchase amount is greater than 5,000, if this condition is true, then you calculate the discount, that is 5% of purchase amount. And then if we calculate the net amount, that net amount you can print here. Net amount is after deduction of the discount, you will print. Suppose this condition is false. False means you are not having the particular criteria, then this condition becomes false, then you will move directly here. So these two branches there, one is this and second is this. This will be executed only depends upon the condition. If condition is true, then only this will execute, otherwise no separate branch is there. There is another kind of thing is that because this condition is having only one, this simple if is having only one condition and one branch separately it is having. If there is another provision that you may have two branch. If purchase amount is greater than 5,000, you are eligible to get 5% discount. If your purchase amount is not greater than 5,000, then also you are getting 2% of discount. Then you need to create two separate branch. One is 5%, one is 2%. Either one of them will execute. So if you have one condition with two branch, then you have to take second format of if. Second format of if is known as if else statement. If else statement. How this will write? You see the syntax is if here the test condition, here the true block. If the condition is true, you will enter in this, and else here the false block. If the condition is true, you are allowed in this section, and after executing of this section you will come out. This portion will not execute. So these are two branches, one branch and second branch. If this condition is false, then it will enter in the else area. This else area is for when the condition becomes false. So you are allowed to enter in this, you will execute this, and after executing this, you will continue the next program. Now, as per the syntax of this, we will interpret our program and see this present scenario. What I told you in the beginning, if the purchase amount is 5,000, more than 5,000, then you are allowed to get 5% discount, otherwise 2% of discount. So let's modify this. Initially, whatever the purchase amount that you have entered, now we test here the purchase amount. If it is greater than 5,000, we will calculate 5%. Else, we will calculate discount is equal to purchase amount multiplied by 0.02. See, now these two branch, this is true branch, this is false branch. If amount is greater than 5,000, then this will be executed and you will come out of this, and here we will print the net amount. Here we will calculate the net amount first. Net amount is equal to PA minus discount and print net amount. Okay. If this condition becomes true, we will calculate 5% discount and we will move from this and we will execute this and program will end. If this condition becomes false, you will enter in the else area, this will be skipped. Okay, any one of these will execute on the basis of this condition. If this will become false, you will enter in this else area, discount of 2% will be calculated, and after this we will calculate net amount and we will print net amount, and that's the end. So here, student, this is the second type of if, that is called if and else statement. It is having second branch also, that is called else branch. Okay. Now we will think of the third type of if, because you know that in realistic we may have two or more than two conditions. So in that situation, how we will deal, that you see here. Then third and fourth, I am taking all these two together. Third type of if is called nested if, and fourth is called else if statement. एक nested if statement. These two forms are known as when we have more than one conditions. then we will use this statement or this statement. Any one of these we can use. See, if in a program you may have two conditions or three conditions, then according to the situation you decide whether it is suitable for nested if or whether it is suitable for else if. Let us take an example. Suppose you have to calculate the grade of a student, okay, and on the basis of your percentage marks you are going to decide the grade. Let me ask you, if I ask you first whether you have percentage marks greater than 33, then if you say yes, means if this condition is true, then you cannot say my grade is A or B or C, because the grade is depends upon various levels. Let me explain little. Level is 91 to 100, your grade is A1. 81 to 90, your grade is A2. 71 to 80, your grade is B1. Okay, let me take up to this example. Suppose your percentage may be 70, greater than 71, but may not be greater than 81, may not be greater than 91, may not be greater than 100. So these levels you have to identify. Suppose if I am asking you all the conditions one by one together, then it comes in nested if area. This nested if statement, the logic of nested if statement is all the conditions should be asked one by one all together. See the syntax of nested if. First if, first condition. After the first condition, immediately you should ask the second condition. I am taking the example of up to two conditions. Okay. If this condition is true, then second must be asked immediately. After the second, you can say the result of the successor of second condition. And if the third condition is there, then third should come immediately after the test condition of second. If you are having two conditions, then first, second, and that's it. Then the statement of true when we have condition test 2 is true. If the test 2 is false, then else of test 2 should be right under the second if. If this condition becomes false, then you enter in this area and the statements that you need to write when the condition 2 is false, that you have to write here. And similarly, suppose the first condition initially it falls, then the else of first condition should be right under the first if. See the indents properly in Python. One thing very carefully you have to use, that is properly managing the indents. You have to give indents sometimes in some statements. So when you give the indents, you must take care of that. Suppose here after the first if, you must give indents to write the second if. After the second if, you must give the indents to the dependent statements. After the second if, the else, this else should belongs to there. Suppose you put the else, this else here, then this will not generate error because this else will be considered to this if. So please take care of that. The indent of the particular else and if should be maintained properly. If you write the else under the second if, then this should be considered of the second condition else. If you write the else here, that the interpreter will consider this else belongs to this test condition 1. So here we will write the statement that we need to execute when the first condition becomes false. Let us take one example to implement this condition. Okay. I am taking one example where the purchase amount greater than 5,000, then discount is 2%. If purchase amount greater than 10,000, then discount is 5%. Two conditions are there. First condition is discount is greater than 5,000, then 2%. Second condition is suppose it is greater than 5,000 and it is greater than 10,000 also, then you are eligible to get discount 5%. If your amount is lesser than 5,000, you are not allowed to get any discount, because there is only two criteria given. So this situation can be how to mold this situation in the program. So this is the problem and this is the solution. How we will implement the realistic logic in this concept of effects. See how I explained you, when you are going to test if your purchase amount is greater than 5,000, if it is true, then you are eligible to get at least 2%. But if your purchase amount is greater than 10,000 also, then you are eligible to get 5%. So if I ask you how much purchase amount is there, then if I ask you like this, if do you have purchase amount greater than 5,000? Suppose your purchase amount is 12,000. Then what do you say? Yes. If you say yes, then I need to ask you the second condition immediately. Do you have purchase amount greater than 10,000? You say yes. Then what I have to say? Okay, congratulations customer, you are eligible to get 5%. Okay. Suppose you say no in the second condition. First condition you say yes, I have 5,000 more purchase amount. In the second condition you say no, I am not having purchase amount greater than 10,000. Then you are under this criteria. Then you will get 2% of discount. If in the first situation if you say no, I am not having purchase amount greater than 5,000, means you are having lesser amount, then you will get discount 0. So we will implement this without erasing this syntax. I am writing the same situation here, so you will get better idea how to write nested if statement. So I'll ask first if purchase amount greater than 5,000. If you say yes, then I cannot say you will get 2% or you will get 5%, because there is a second barrier also, second condition also, that you must test first before deciding 5% or 2%, because this condition only decide whether you will get 2% or 5%. So if purchase amount greater than 10,000, the second condition I will write here. See, if the first condition becomes true, then you will going to test the 10. Suppose you are having purchase amount more than 10%, 10,000, then this condition will also true. Then what you will do? As per the present example, you are not having any other higher condition, so you are eligible to get 5%. Then you have to, what is the task you have to do? Task is to calculate discount. So discount you will calculate here, purchase amount into 5%. Suppose the first condition becomes true, but the second condition false. That means what? Your amount is greater than 5,000, but your amount is lesser than 10,000. That means you comes under this criteria. So if this condition becomes false, then you have to write else here and calculate the discount is equal to 2% of the purchase amount. And suppose if the first condition false, then you have to write the else under the first if, and you have to write discount is equal to 0. After that, we will write the net amount and we will print the net amount. My last example for this else if statement for the same condition. Think about this. If you write nested conditions, nested means one after another. This is syntax, this is example. Same example you can write by using else if statement. This else if statement is little same, but ask the condition in a different manner. How it appears? See the first syntax of this else if statement. The structure of else if statement is little different. It will ask the condition 1. If the condition becomes true, then it gives the result directly. So here we will display the result of the first condition. If the condition becomes false, then we will write elif. Elif means else if, else plus if. So if the condition becomes false, then it comes to the second, and here we have the second condition. First condition, and then we have second condition. If this condition becomes true, then we will get the conclusion and we will get the true report here. If this condition becomes false, then we have the next. If we have third condition, then we should write here. But I am taking the example of two conditions only. So here you need to end this by putting else. So this is the else of the second test condition, and here you write the false block of test 2. Okay. This actually the beginner, some students like this format instead of nested if. Why? Because this is quite simpler to ask. Like here you need to calculate what discount percentage you are having. Then is simply if you take the higher value first. If I ask you how much purchase amount is yours, then you simply say more than 10,000. Then I can, what is my result? Result of the condition is simply you say your discount is 5%. If you say no, then you have to decide whether it is greater than 5,000 or not. So if the condition becomes false, then next condition occurs. This is the scenario, little different than the nested if. Here all the conditions come together. Here conditions comes when the first condition becomes false. See the example, same example. I am interpreting this by using else if statement. If I ask you is purchase amount greater than 10,000, if this condition becomes true, you need not to ask any other condition. Why? Because after 10,000 there is no more condition. So if it is true, then you have to write the answer. The answer is discount is equal to purchase amount multiplied by 5%. 5% formula you need to write here. If this condition becomes false, then you have to take the second condition. So else you have to write PA greater than 5,000. If this condition becomes true, then your discount is 2%. Else, if this condition becomes false, you are not having any other condition. Suppose you are having any more conditions, that you can continue here. Instead of writing else, you can write elif. So if greater than 10,000, you will get 5% and happy and go, and this whole area will be skipped. If the first condition becomes false, then you enter in this area. Your purchase amount is greater than 5,000. If yes, then get 2% and get out of this code. Suppose this is false, this is also false, then you enter in this. Sorry, no discount available. So these three options you have created, and on the basis of these two conditions, you can get a suitable branch and you can execute your code. As you know that when you call the call centers, press 1 for Hindi, press 2 for English, like options that program is asking to you. So if you press what option you have here, accordingly that operator program will behave. All these things will the result of this kind of coding, if and if statement or nested if statement or else if statement. So I am sure that after getting these kind of practice of if statement, simple example you can start practicing. And student, I would like to say that in my next lecture I will introduce you about looping. Before that, you practice all kind of conditional programs and simple programs, and give me your feedback in the comment section, and whatever problem if you are having in module 1 and module 2, that you can directly WhatsApp me, or either you can write in the comment section. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.